Welcome back, guys, to our chess game at lichess.org. So today I will be playing a new type of Sicilian defense, and this is what they call the Smith-Morra Gambit. So today I will be playing as John Brazil, having a rating of 1,926, and my enemy is Ash 1,915. So he starts with e4, then I reply with c5. That is the standard Sicilian defense. And here he played the d4. So this is quite aggressive Sicilian defense. So this is what they call the Smith-Morra Gambit. So actually, the standard reply is he takes d4, and the normal variation should be c3. So this is the main line of the Smith-Morra Gambit. But I'm not really sure why did my enemy choose the knight f3. This is a sideline. It's popular, but this is second, second to the most popular. The c3 is the commonly used weapon or main line. So here uh, he played c3, knight f3. Then I played here. Wait. First, he took the pawn on d4. So this is now a different kind of Smith-Morra Gambit because it's not a gambit anymore because he is taking the pawn here in the center. So here I played knight c6. Then the black goes to the white queen goes back to d1, and I played knight f6. So now I am advantage on development. My two-piece knight is already outside of the game while it doesn't have any piece on the board. Uh Here he played the very passive move bishop d3, and I played here with d5. He played with uh, he takes d5, so I played there knight takes d5. He choose knight f3. I go for bishop g4, just pinning the knight on f3 and also developing my my white squared bishop. So then he go for a castle. I go for e6. He go for bishop g5, threatening my queen here. So here I played. Actually, this is a bad move since, as you can see, from negative zero point 0.3, after he moved the bishop g5, I think the evaluation goes favored to black. As you can see, this is now negative 7.3. So this is favorable to black because the reason why this is a piece down because I can take this knight on f3. That's bishop takes f3. Then he need to take the queen here because if not, this bishop is hanging. So he goes for this bishop takes d8, and I go bishop takes d1. So now I need to take that bishop on d1 with this rook, and now I take the bishop on d8 with my rook. And now, as you can see, I'm already ahead of piece. I have two knights and one bishop and two rooks, while he have two rooks, one bishop and one knight. So I'm ahead of one knight, and this entirely winning for black. So here he played knight c3. Again, this is very good for me because I can exchange this piece and make it simplify. So I did that, and now he take it with his pawn, and also the pawn here is damaged. The structure is damaged. It is very good for black. Here I played a6 just to defend this b4 square. So here he played g3, just a breathing room for the king. I go for bishop a3, attempting going to this square. Just actually, I'm not really sure if this one is bad move, but based on the engine, I should gone to the square bishop c5. I didn't do that because I'm gonna threat this a2 with my bishop, and I'm gonna take this pawn later. And he replied with rook a b1, so threatening this pawn at b7. What I did here is just defend it with rook d7, and then the rook goes to b3. Uh, Based on the engine, you could go this one, and I can exchange. Get to exchange, and again we are going to an end game. Mm. Then that will be an easy route to win the game. So here he played rook b3. So I have to move my bishop. So I move my bishop on c5. So that's bishop c5. He played a4. Maybe he's planning to push the pawn all the way down to the a file, but that will be a hanging pawn. What I did is just I lifted my king on e7, so I'm preparing to activate my other rook. So here he played also the same thing. He wants to activate his king on g2, so I need to move now my second rook and goes to double rook on the d file. So that will be very strong rook there. Open file. So here you go rook e1 because you don't want to exchange the rook on that file, but I go h6 just to make sure that this pawn won't be hanging. It won't be hanging because if the bishop will take this, for example, I'll make a move like this, and the bishop, no, not that one. Maybe let's say this one, and he took this bishop. The bishop will take this pawn at h7. I could make a trap here with this one. Oops. Why? Oh, wait. Yep. Then he took this. I watch this pawn. I can move this one. Oh, never mind. But that bishop will be trapped. For example, I go this one, and this bishop is nowhere to go. Instead of he is obligated to eat that other pawn, and he is now two down piece. So that is definitely winning for black. But let's see what we got here. So I push the pawn on h6 just to make sure that this pawn at h7 is not isn't hanging. So what he did, he goes for another push on the pawn in h4, making his king side pretty weak. Then I go king f6, just activating further my king, and he double rook on this b file. He wants to take down this pawn at b7, but I have a knight jump here that easily defended this pawn, and he needs to go back the rook slide down because it's threatened by knight. And I push my pawn here, making this pawn at a6 hanging, but he didn't click that at the moment. I could have defended that, but I was thinking that no, I don't want to defend that because I can I can activate my other piece and create havoc on the center instead. So what he did, he took that pawn. So it's time for me to go and conquer the second rank on the white side. So that's quite very active rook on d2. So he go back at bishop d5. So that bishop is a weak bishop. It cannot be he cannot defend the two powerful rooks at the center. So I go for the knight jump at knight e5. So here he played, I think he played here rook a2. He was planning to push this pawn all the way to the a8, but it doesn't have any effect because that will be taken by my b pawn. So here I go for the knight jump at g4 and threatening to go to e3, in which I don't think he noticed that one. So here just push the pawn, and I go for the knight jump on e3 with check, and he cannot take this knight. because this open with the rook here on this rook is there's an open check. So what he did, he go down at g1, and I took that pawn. I took that rook at f1, and he took that with his king. Queen takes f1. I go check. Rook takes f2, and this is totally over for white. I go for d takes a5. He takes the pawn on rook takes a5, and I take the pawn on bishop takes c2, and he blundered by pushing this c4 pawn because there is a double check on bishop d4, and the rook at a5 will be taken away. There will be no defender. This easily winning for. Actually, if he move this one, I can mate him with this one, and I don't need to take this rook because this is already made. So that's how the game ended. Let's review where is the failure or the blunder. So far, everything looks fine and everything looks good. I think this bishop g5 is the blunder of all blunders. So this is the move that make the whites fail to calculate because he is a piece down after this move at bishop g5, because after these exchanges he is now a piece down. So winning a piece on a middle game is easy win. You can convert that easily to end game and convert it to winning the whole game. So I think that's how it ended, and that is your Sicilian Mora Smith Gambit, Smith Mora or Mora Smith Gambit, something like that. And this is totally over because this is a piece down, and I think that's your game for today. Thank you, and thank you guys for watching, and have a good one, guys, and God bless.